The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
There we go. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday brunch edition of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports, and you don't need an ID to get a mimosa. I kid. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name's Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of your co-hosts, and to my right, my co-host is not here today. My co-host is Dustin. He has a family engagement, so he is not going to be with us today. But I do have a guest. I do have a guest co-host today. I wanted to bring in the heavy hitters because today, the greatest day of the year in the sporting calendar, debatable to some, it starts today. The Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm excited to bring in one of the heavy hitters when it comes to hockey because he is from the nation of Canada. We're not going to play anthems, so we're not going to boo each other. But please welcome from the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. He's a hockey enthusiast. He's also one of my favorite fellow Yankee fans here in the Belly Up Sports YouTube streams. He is also the general manager of the Lethbridge Bulls of the Canadian Baseball League, Western Canada Baseball League, which is a college baseball team up in Canada. Is Brent Radlinsky. Brent, good morning to you, sir.
How you doing, Ryan? Good to join you here at having some brunch. I usually sitting down watching your guys' show, but now you threw me into pinch hit duties. I greatly appreciate it. It's good to see you.
No, I appreciate you coming on because again, like I said, you're one of the heavy hitters when it comes to hockey. Stanley Cup playoffs start today, and we're going to preview the first round. But I just wanted to bring you on since Dustin is at a filming engagement, so. Thank you for pinch hitting. Appreciate you.
Not a problem at all. I remember a couple of months back, you put something on the Twitter machine, a poll about the hardest trophy to win. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit later. We can get into it right now about the hardest trophy to win. And to me, it's the Stanley Cup playoffs, and it gets going tonight because you got to win 4 games 4 times, and not many. And there isn't many sports that you got to do that. I know everybody's very how the Super Bowls have won, but you know what? You can win 3 and 4 games, all of a sudden you won the whole thing. So That's only one round. So the hockey playoffs, like you said, they get rolling tonight, and it gets going. There's some great hockey to be watched. Starting the first round, it's gonna be fantastic to watch.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into everything, just want to let the people know where to find No Credentials Required. We can find it here on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. You can also check out many of our other podcasts like Brent's and other articles on bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you find podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, again, wherever you find podcasts. And don't forget to hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when live shows go up, when video clips go up, when general show announcements go up, or just clips from the show. They go up on both on YouTube and on Twitter. You can also find the replay of this podcast shortly after on the Belly Up YouTube channel. You can also, since we are a live show on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern for the Saturday brunch, and on Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, leave a comment. Leave a live comment. It's a live show. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and the No Credentials Required YouTube page. Again, we'll be on the replay later on the Belly Up YouTube page. Also, in the podcast side, rate, review, comment. I've already got a comment in the comment section. D's Ray of Sunshine saying, "Is this sports ball?" Yes, this indeed is sports ball. Thank you for commenting. And we're going to get into it we're going to get into everything. We're going to get started with the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we're going to look at the bracket for the first round. And we're going to start in the Eastern Conference. And I know both our favorite teams, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New Jersey Devils, are in that Eastern bracket. We're going to actually start off in the Atlantic Division with Brent, your Toronto Maple Leafs taking on in the Battle of Ontario. It's back, baby. Battle of Ontario's back with a team that I had my eye on since January. The Ottawa Senators. Let's talk about this matchup a little bit. What's your opinion about this matchup?
Yeah, the Senators kind of went out and made a couple of deals. They went and got Dylan Cousins from ex-Leopard Hurricane Dylan Cousins from the Buffalo Sabres.
Hey.
And I'm not saying he was a spark plug to get that team going, but all of a sudden they're going a little bit. Ottawa is, and they're one of those teams that believes in themselves, and they got enough grit on the back end. They got or on the front end with Tkachuk, obviously with the pests that they can be, him and his brother, and then you add in Ridley Gregg, another kind of a Lethbridge-born guy. Played in the Western Hockey League in Brandon. He's a bit of a crap disturber to say the least. So the Leafs have their hands full with this Ottawa team that they got a goaltender with Linus Ullmark that they really believe in themselves. And they believe that the first Battle of Ontario since 2004, so it's been a long time. They really feel that they got a chance to win this series, and Leafs fans are already kind of clenching their butt cheeks a little bit because over the years, I think everybody knows that the ineptitude is the polite way of saying it here on a Saturday morning of the Toronto Maple Leafs over the years, and they haven't been able to get anything done. Only getting past the first round, I think it was last year or 2 years in a row now, but didn't mean anything. So I don't know if people of Toronto, I think this is going to be a slam dunk, and I don't either. And that's not just the Leaf fan in me because the years of not doing anything. I think that's just in general. This Ottawa team's for real. And they got a really good team. Sanderson is on defense is fantastic, and he's better than anything that Toronto's got. Yeah, Toronto made some deals, but I don't know how much faith I do have in the Leafs to get by this first round. Until they do something, there's going to be that negativity. That's with anything, really. Until they get something done, I think that's the hockey world, not just Leafs fans, thinking, geez, when are they ever going to do it?
Yeah, it's interesting with the Maple Leafs. They're loaded up front, obviously with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, John Tavares, but their question is always going to be goaltending.
Yeah.
It's always going to be goaltending. Now in a way, they've solidified it this season, but one guy's got to come out of this and be the hot goalie, and that's always the thing in the Stanley Cup playoffs is that you ride that hot goalie all the way to the Stanley Cup, always. And I can't picture either one of these goaltenders in Toronto being the guy that they ride for the entire way.
That's the thing with Stolar is like he's had a great season, but his next playoff game is going to be his first playoff game. And I know the game stays the same and the game it doesn't change, but it just gets that's what they say, and you can calm things down. But there's an elevated sense of urgency in the playoffs, obviously, because first to four, and that's what it is. So Stolarz, you don't know what he's got, and Ullmark's been he's been around the block a few times with the Bruins, so you got to give the edge. You got to give the edge definitely to Ottawa. And like you said, Ryan, if you don't have good goaltending, you don't win. If you look at the over the years, the Conn Smythe Trophy that goes to the MVP of the playoffs. There's a lot of goalies on the names on that trophy over the years because it's the guy who stands out and the guy who gets it done. And the goaltending, I have an old saying: "You show me a good goalie, I'll show you a good coach." There's a lot of coaches that probably wouldn't have won Stanley Cups without great goaltending, and that's going to be the X factor. That's really why I'm leaning with the Ottawa Senators. The Leafs. Yeah. The Leafs have not been able to score in the playoffs. That's been their big thing. You add in Nylander and you add in Tavares, like you said, they're big guns. But if they're shooting against a goalie who's better than average, it doesn't bode well for the Maple Leafs.
No, I think Toronto. I think Ottawa is the sexiest pick of anyone in the Eastern Conference in the first round. That's the sexiest pick because of Toronto's history. Basically, it's Toronto's history, and you got an up-and-coming team like Ottawa, and good on Ottawa fans, for Senators fans, for sticking with their team for this long. It just seems like they've been kind of in a rebuild for so long, and now you've got the horses, you got the weapons to make a run. And I saw this Ottawa Senators team firsthand at the Rock in Newark, New Jersey, in mid-January. And at that time, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I know the Devils were struggling at the time, but Ottawa's for real. Ottawa is for real. Yeah. They can get at least a first round victory. At least make it out of the first round. Great for them. It's great for them. It's great for their franchise. And this fan base has been waiting to go back to the playoffs for so long.
Yeah, it's funny, like you mentioned, that a team winning around is a success, and then a team that went, like I say, if the Leafs win around, it means nothing. And so you just go, what are we playing for? And then a team, they'll be gripping their sticks. The Leafs will for sure, because it's wide open. And like I said, that Kachuk factor. He's the kind of guy like his brother was with Florida last year. They can jump on his back, and like I don't see him dropping the gloves 3 seconds into this one like he did in the Four Nations face-off. But it's going to be a little bit. But you never know. You never know.
Hey, stranger things have happened in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
They're wired a little bit differently, those Kachuk boys, but no, it should be fun to watch. And Leafs fans, especially if the Leafs lose the first one, it could be lights out early for the Leafs once again.
Yeah. This is a tough. This series could go 6 games. This series could go 7 games.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm here for it. I'm here for the hockey. And we're going to move on to the next the next bracket in the Atlantic Division. Battle of Florida, Tampa Bay Lightning, and the defending champion Florida Panthers. This one's a tough one to read for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, because Florida's a Stanley Cup champion. They took the long road last year, almost blew a 3-0 lead in the Stanley Cup final, and went up winning 2-1 in the final. This team, they're starting to get healthy again. They just brought in Brad Marchand, and I know a lot of Boston Bruins fans feel a little sick to their stomach seeing Brad Marchand in a Florida Panthers jersey of all jerseys to wear, Florida Panthers. But these are 2 battle-tested franchises, especially over the last half decade. Tampa Bay has been in the Stanley Cup final 3 times. They've won 2 Stanley Cups. Florida won their first Stanley Cup last year. They went to the Stanley Cup 2 years before, or a year before with Vegas. So these are 2 grizzled, battle-tested playoff franchises, and I could see this matchup going. I think either team could take this series. It's going to be a long series. I believe, in my opinion, it'll be a long series. But Brent, what's your perspective on the Lightning and Panthers?
I was just thinking about this, that it's a good thing it's only a 7-game series. I think if this one was a 13-game series, it would go 13. It's not close. It's one of those you go, holy cow! Both of these teams have 2 great goaltenders with Vasilevsky and Bobrovsky. You got Kucherov out there in Tampa, one of the best players in the game. Might be if it wasn't for Hellebuck, he's probably the MVP this season. He's fantastic. And then you add in what they got going on over there in Florida, and we're getting Marchand and then Seth Jones on the back end. I don't know how, like, it's just there, and just Kachuk is going to be playing, how healthy he is, whether it was just one of those Las Vegas-esque kind of an injury where he's miraculously better already, like his health is just bang, it's the end of it's middle of April, I'm good now.
They injected some cash into him, and now he's good to go.
I'm good to go. I'm fine. Everything, nothing over here, nothing to see here. But nothing. This one's going to be a definite battle. Like it is this like Braden Point might be the X factor, because some guys might cancel themselves out on either side, and Point is a heck of a player. He's just really good. I think that this one could go, like I said, I think this could go 7. I think it's going to be hard. It's a hard one to pick because both teams have a championship pedigree, but like you said there, Ryan, when you play this much hockey over the time, and then a lot of these guys played in that, and this alluded to this Four Nations face-off a lot, because it was one. Actually, I want to talk to you about that in half a second, but it's you play high, and it's nothing to do with the Canada-US thing. It was just how great it was. Just like a lot of high impact hockey for a lot of guys in the last few years, and no matter how young and fit and everything else you are, that can wear in a body for sure, because it's a different level, and you're just going every other night, and it's not a game in Columbus on a Tuesday in January. Like these games, not that Columbus is a bad hockey market by any means, but it's a different level of intensity. And for that's what's going to be the thing is, I think the health thing is going to be huge in this, and the high impact hockey. And a lot of these guys that play it, like I said, it's going to be a good one. It's the first time Tampa's been through it without their longtime leader Steve Stamkos as well. So can the other guys step up and take over from the footsteps of the probably a Hall of Famer in Stamkos? So it's going to be I think it's going to be one of the best series, and that might not be seen by some people on the West Coast, which is too bad. It's funny how hockey doesn't find a way to do that. I understand how time zones work, but it's this one's going to be a good one. Like if I had $10 in my pocket, I wouldn't put down $10 on either, because it's just so hard to pick. But I would lean towards Tampa, just because I think Vasilevsky is just a little bit better than Bobrovsky. And that's kind of my take on that one.
Yeah, you talk about Braden Point, and Braden Point is one of those players who's never talked about in conversation about in regards to best players in the NHL. Yep. You've got your Crosbys, you've got your McDavids, you've got your Dreisaitl's. Nobody ever mentions Braden Point. Is it kind of a bias against where he plays? Yeah,
that's exactly it. And that'd be like, if you think about it, that'd be the perfect place to play hockey. Nobody knows who you are. Mm-hmm. Like you're making millions, and the weather's
tax-free. Income tax-free.
I know they get the odd hurricane that rolls through there, but whatever. Yeah, you deal with the good. You take the good, you take the bad, like the Facts of Life said years and years ago. But
that's right.
You just all right, but he plays somewhere in anonymity a little bit, and he can just go and play hockey. And he's like, there's Florida State football, there's Florida this, there's Florida that, and then where do the Tampa Bay Lightning sit in that hierarchy? Like, it's all right, good. And it's like if you played in Edmonton or in St. Louis, even he would be a much bigger name. And he's a great hockey player. It's an underrated hockey player that's just he'll probably be there forever and retire somewhere else or stay there. And this is what people ask him what he did for a living. He could say anything. It's great.
Yeah, it's Brain Point vastly underrated in my opinion, and of course in Brent's opinion too. Got some more comments in the comment section. D's Ray of Sunshine saying, "Woo, Florida." She also says those jerseys do look good. They are a solid jersey. I will say, Florida Panthers with the shield. I like that. I like it. And Rich kind of chiming in saying, "Armbar." Chris Jericho fan right there. One of Canada's own.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to the Metropolitan Division. And in the Metropolitan Division, we have the Washington Capitals facing the Montreal Canadiens. Yes, there's quite a point gap between Washington and Montreal. Washington has been sort of a wagon since December. I know the New Jersey Devils. My New Jersey Devils were in first and second place from October through November, and then December hit, and Washington just surged. And yes, they're riding the momentum with Alex Ovechkin and breaking his goal scoring record. Mind you, he had a broken freaking leg back in December, and on January, 6 weeks later, he's back on the ice, and he wound up breaking the record. So congratulations to him. On the other side of the puck, I'm not sleeping on Montreal. I don't think anybody should sleep on Montreal. Montreal has been on fire since February. You just see them crawl. Actually, I think I noted somewhere in January that the Montreal Canadiens were in a playoff spot, and it was January 31st. And he just kind of stayed there. They stayed in that wild card discussion, eventually battling it out with the aforementioned Columbus Blue Jackets, which give them a lot of credit too for with the season they had, losing their best player, playing inspired hockey, struggled in the beginning, but then just absolutely just crawled up the standings. And I remember them being about, I think they were a point behind New Jersey in the beginning of March. They were a point behind New Jersey for that third place spot in the Metro. But Montreal, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, a couple of pretty solid, steady goaltenders and Sam Montembeault. Also Lane Hudson, who I think many think is going to be the Calder Trophy winner for Rookie of the Year. But let's talk about this matchup, Brent. Give me some of your give me some of your thoughts about this matchup.
I want to touch on the Ovechkin thing quickly here. It's amazing, like you said, he had the broken leg. And then it just comes back. The guy is just a machine. I don't know. You don't know how to do it. And he looks like he's 52 years old some days. And then to score 800 of his 895 goals in that exact same spot. That's the two most amazing things over the years. I don't know why they don't just put a guy over here. He's like over here, and then he just scores left hand side. Every time, like the one he got to break the record was from the same spot.
The same spot as on the power play, no less.
So I maybe Martin St. Louis, Montreal's head coach, will just put a guy in that spot, and that problem will take care of itself. But I agree with you. Montreal's been really, really solid for quite a while, and it was back in December. I think I was listening to a different show, and they were saying Montreal should sell. They're not doing anything. Get rid of guys. The year's over. And then they just kind of started winning. They started winning and getting things going. They got some goaltending, and they kind of started to believe in themselves. And they eked into the playoffs in the second, I think second last day of the season, and there it is. And that's a team that would scare me if I was Washington. I know Washington, they've struggled the last little bit, but that was one of the teams that, we're our spots here, whatever. We're not going to go up or down.
They were so far ahead in the Metro standings, it didn't really matter.
I think it's a bit of I wouldn't be the first person to say this, but it's a bit of a surprise that the Capitals came out of nowhere to finish with the record that they had. But if Montreal can win one, and then you start believing in yourself a little bit. And it's kind of like the Ottawa Senators kind of deal. But I think Montreal's in a different spot because they may be a year or two ahead of where they were supposed to be at this time with like making the playoffs. Great. Okay. What can we do? And you start to believe in yourselves a little bit and just go and win. If they can get it back up, they can be tied 1-1 going back to Montreal. That crowd will be crazy at the Bell Center. The playoff time in Montreal, there's nothing like it. They will be absolutely just ruckus there. That's it'll be fantastic to watch. And I really believe that Sam Montembeault could take that team to the next level. And he could do it. But Washington's no slouch. You don't have that record of being bad. Can Montreal win this? But I still think that you don't end up second in the league in points. And I know the regular season means nothing. You win the President's Trophy as Winnipeg did. It means absolutely nothing. I think it's last 10, 12 years, guys haven't gotten past the second round winning the President's Trophy. So I think Washington wins this. They've got the Ovechkin chase behind them, so that's not hanging over their heads anymore. And they're just they got a really good team. And Logan Thompson's supposed to come back and be in net as well, and he's an elite guy. So it's going to be a tight series, but I really think that the better team will prevail because Montreal's still a little bit. They're a year away from being really good. They're just good right now, but they're a year away. Unless they can steal one, then you never know. You never know what could happen with Montreal.
No. This is what I love about the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like you take one from in the opening series. If you're the visiting team, you take one. You ride that momentum back home, and you could go up 3-1 pretty easily. So I was listening to the game on Wednesday or Thursday, excuse me, when Montreal clinched, and there was an interesting fact that the Montreal Canadiens, in their 100+ years that they've been in the National Hockey League as a member of the National Hockey League, they have never missed the playoffs 3 years in a row.
That's a factoid. You would only get here at no credentials required on a Saturday morning. I did not know that.
Yeah. I forgot who was the who the play-by-play announcer was for 690 in Montreal, but he said that. I'm going, are you serious? Because remember the last time they were in the playoffs was 2020. They've never missed 4 years in a row. I can't remember what it was, but they were in the play. They were in the Stanley Cup final in 2021.
Yeah,
but they've climbed the mountain back up, and they're back. They're back, and this could be a fun series to watch too. But just because Montreal's so much fun, they've also got that kid Demidov. Who made his debut, scored 3
got 2 points his first game. He could be someone who just comes out of nowhere and be the darling of the playoffs because there are stories like that every year.
Yeah,
it could just be that one kid that comes out of nowhere. He's too young and dumb to know anything different, so why not? Yeah,
exactly. Then we got our last.
Ryan, funny story about that. Like we're in the middle of our an election series season up here right now, and they
Uh-oh.
postponed the start. I know we're not getting political, but they postponed the French version of the debate till after the Canadiens game was done on Wednesday night to make sure that everybody would watch the game. So only in Canada would they say the hockey takes precedence over politics. So it was actually quite funny. It was I was like, what the heck's going on here? But yeah, it's just what it is.
You love your hockey. I get it. Then we come to our last matchup of the Eastern Conference. This one might be the shortest series of all, not just in the Eastern Conference, but overall for the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Carolina I almost called them Panthers. Carolina Hurricanes and the New Jersey Devils. I could talk all day about this matchup. And this could go either one of two ways. Either this is going to be a sweep, a gentleman's sweep, actually 3 ways, excuse me. It'll be a sweep. Carolina's going to sweep New Jersey. It'll be a gentleman's sweep, Carolina beating New Jersey in 5, or the Devils can come out and could just surprise everyone and win in 7. There's the two extremes are just in my mind, because I've watched this New Jersey Devils team all season long. They are my team, as you can see on the screen here. I actually picked this shirt up in New Jersey when I went to see them play Ottawa back in January. I saw $51, but still a good shirt. But this team has been kind of riding a roller coaster all season long. Carolina has been slow and steady, just going down the river. New Jersey has been everywhere. It started out hot. December hits, and all of a sudden injuries start to hit. Poor play starts to hit. And even after the Four Nations break, they still struggled. Jack Hughes goes out. He's done for the year with another injury, with another shoulder injury. Dougie Hamilton, he's done for the year. Jonas Siegenthaler, he's done for the year. Although Dougie Hamilton is back in the lineup, he did play on Thursday night in the season in the home finale. And on the other side of the puck, you've got Carolina, who is always consistent, always steady, always has good front, good up front, great in the back. Goaltending, suspect, but still solid. But you also got a year of the New Jersey Devils also bringing in Sheldon Keefe to his first full season. So in a way, I kind of give him some grace in that regard. But to me, this series could finish up very quickly, or it could go 7. New Jersey Devils win. So that's my perspective, Brent. Go ahead and share your perspective.
You took the words out of my mouth with Carolina, how they just roll down the river, and it's what they are. Rod Brindamore has it. I don't want to say it's a fine-tune machine, but it's a tune machine. This is what the Carolina Hurricanes are. They got some good players, not great players. They do what they can do to just be there to make the playoffs good enough, and I think that's what they are. I feel for you, Ryan, because the New Jersey Devils should have had a lot better season than they did. They're nicked up. They've been nicked up all season long, and I think if you're putting all your eggs in the Dougie Hamilton basket, I don't know how big that basket's going to be or where it's going to take you. He's a great player, but he's not that guy, right?
He's not Dougie Hamilton of 5 years ago or even 10 years ago.
No, he's at that point in his career. He's a great player. Jacob Markstrom is in net. Like, he's good, but he's he's
there. He's just kind of there.
This is what you got, and you're just, here's what it is. But I trust him more than I trust Freddie Anderson in that, because remember, Freddie Anderson used to be a Leafs goaltender, so I got no faith in anybody who ever played goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, I just don't. So I actually give the goaltending matchup, and that could be the deciding factor, as we said in some other previews of the Eastern Conference. I give Markstrom the edge in net for New Jersey. I just think that they Carolina, they made some deals. That Stankoven kid's okay, that they got it. Whether he's going to be a deciding factor, well, who knows? But Jersey's and Sheldon Keefe isn't a bad coach. And you give him this year away from it because of the injuries, and you can't replace a Hughes, obviously. And that the injuries.
Jesper Bratt has stepped up big time since Hughes went down. He's been their best player up front.
And you like to see that where someone does jump in like that, and then maybe this is the kind of the kick in the pants that they need to get to that next level and not depend on a superstar like Hughes. You know what? Because I don't have any faith in Carolina doing anything. Like Carolina could lose this round or they could lose next round. Right. So out of the two teams in this one, like you said, I'm going to go with you, Ryan. I'll be cheering for you. I'll go with the New Jersey Devils to win this one somehow, some way.
Wow.
Because I just think that Markstrom's a little bit better than anybody who's ever played goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And
if Markstrom cracks the bed, Jake Allen can fill in. He was pretty solid. He was pretty solid in Markstrom's absence. You know, when Marky went down with the knee injury.
Yeah, he's a solid backup too. He's a guy who could probably play for another 5 or 10 years and nobody would know that he did. He's like, all right, I'll just play by 15, 20, 30, whatever the games. Yeah, it's a career. Yeah. Yeah. So no, they're fine. Like is Aho a deciding factor there as well? Because Aho's a really good player, but is anyone scared of him? Not really. Like it's just one of those series that.
Yeah, he's another one of those players that's kind of under the radar, like Braden Point in Tampa Bay. More comments in the comments section. Desi saying, D's Ray Sunstein saying, love the hockey talk. Ryan, the beard's looking good. Thank you. She also says Hurricanes all the way. And also says, I wish New Jersey was more consistent. Me too.
That's the biggest thing. And it's so hard. Like winning is hard. And then to do it consistently is even harder. It really is. Because you have so many factors, especially when it comes to hockey with salary cap and everything else. It's it's really tough. You can't just insert player here. You can't really, you need your top 6 guys and your top 4 defensemen to be your top 6 guys and top 4 defensemen. If one of those guys goes down, what are you doing? Because like I said, that salary cap can be really tough to circumvent.
Yeah,
unless you're Las Vegas, and they find a way to do it.
Unless you're the Golden Knights of Vegas, you're you don't have to worry about that. One other factor I figure into the conversation with New Jersey Devils, they're very young on defense. Very young on defense. Luke Hughes, Shimon Nemec, they're younger guys.
Yeah.
You're going to learn today what playoff hockey is.
It's a different level.
Starts tomorrow, so.
Yeah, it's a different level. Everybody says how soft hockey players, they're not soft, but they're a little different than they were 20, 30 years ago, obviously. But they like once that eye's in the prize and you're 16 wins away from lifting that trophy, it goes. And you watch the what these guys go through in this next 2 months and the wear and tear they have in their body, and just to be able to push themselves through it. And when you see in June when someone finally lifts that thing, just the sense of relief almost more than it is a sense of jubilation. Like it's something to see. Yeah, it's crazy, and it all gets going. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on. Actually, you know what? Let's take a quick commercial. Let's take a network mandated commercial break. When we come back, we'll preview the Stanley. I'm a company guy. I can't help it.
That's good. That's good.
We're going to talk about the Western Conference. Then we're going to talk about our favorite athletes to ever wear the number 27. So stay tuned. Stand by for more No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air-roasted, 100% money-back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. That's right, folks. Even though I'm not drinking it today, I've got a local coffee shop. I got the cold brew from a local coffee shop. Invader Coffee. They've been an affiliate sponsor with us since dang near the beginning of No Credentials Required, and I can't say enough about this coffee. 100% air roasted, takes all the acidity out like you would get with your regular store-bought brand. It's smooth. You don't have to put any sugar or coffee creamer in it. All those extra calories, you don't have to worry about them because this coffee is smooth. You can drink it black, and it's delightful. It's a delight. It's also veteran-owned. So if you love your country and you love supporting veteran causes, you love supporting your fellow veteran-owned businesses, go to the link in the description. It's our affiliate link for invadercoffee.com. Put some coffee in that basket. use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. You get 15% off your order. You can pay a little bit more for shipping, but it comes to your house fresh roasted, or if you get the whole bean, beans are roasted and they're ready to go right in the bag. Or if you get ground, they're fresh ground. And it's a brand that I tried at first, and then I said, come on board as an affiliate sponsor. So I'm not sure if they ship to Canada, but if I could, I would send you a bag of Invader coffee.
There's always a way. There's always a way.
There's always a way.
Coffee mules crossing the border. Yeah,
exactly. So again, links in the description for our affiliate link. And again, use promo code BELLYUP at checkout. Get 15% off your order. So for some of the best coffee, as that handsome man in the voiceover said, it's the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. 100% money back guarantee. So if you get a bag, you don't like it, they'll give you your money back. It's 100% money back guarantee. But I guarantee that you will absolutely love this coffee, and you'll get more of it. And like many of the other sponsors on this show, you get the No Credentials Required seal of approval. Yes, we have a show mascot. His name is Puppers, and there it is, Brent.
There it is. Yeah.
All right, we're going to check in now. Well, actually, we're going to check out the western side of the Stanley Cup bracket, first round. Let's start in the Central Division. The Winnipeg Jets, almost said Blue Bombers. Winnipeg Jets, who have been an absolute wagon all season long. Yeah. They will face the second wild card team. Another team that's been kind of on a hot streak as of late, the St. Louis Blues. Some might say because of the points differential, it matters in the standings, doesn't matter in the playoffs. Winnipeg has been riding the wave all season long. Since the puck drop, I think part of it is the fact that they have a gigantic chip on their shoulder. Disappointment from last year. They get to the playoffs. They've played Colorado, and they absolutely stink up the joint, losing in 5 games. And not just losing in 5 games, losing them badly in 5 games. I don't think after game 1 it was that close when basically in the gentleman's sweep that was the Avalanche and Jets last season. But you're facing a team who fired their head coach in December, brought in a head coach who was fired by his old organization in Jim Montgomery. You bring him in, and the Blues have been playing well ever since. And I didn't think the Blues would be a factor in the playoffs this year. I didn't think they would be I don't think they would even be in the conversation. I thought they would be a lottery team this year. But to my surprise, and to pretty much everyone else's surprise, they're here. They're in the playoffs. So let's talk about this matchup, Brent. What you got in your mind?
Well, you talked about that series last year that the Winnipeg Jets had with a very tough, well, obviously Colorado team, but Connor Hellebuck was awful. And that's once again, you only go as far as your goaltender will take you. And yep. Hellebuck was just flat out terrible. And then he talked double speak last year. If you remember last year in the playoffs, I was like, what the heck's he even talking? This doesn't make any sense. Where he thought he was good, but he's giving up 6 and 7 a night. Like what the the puck didn't hit you, man. Like it's pretty simple. Like he wasn't good. So this is been a redemption tour of a season for him. He's probably going to win the MVP. He's going to win the Vezina and the like. He's been fantastic, but like you said, this is St. Louis Blues team. You're reminiscent of 2019 when they won the Stanley Cup and Laura Branigan and Gloria took over for them as their anthem. and
great song, by the way. Great. Oh,
fantastic! Yeah, that one gets the juices rolling no matter what. And you look at that team and how they were awful. Were out of a playoff spot at New Year's and won themselves a Stanley Cup. So they're kind of done the same thing. And Jordan Binnington was a big reason for that. And Binnington's already played in a couple of big games already. Is the same as Hellebuck did it at Four Nations face-off. And I didn't have much faith in Binnington going into that tournament as Canada's number 1 guy, but he proved me wrong and a lot of people wrong, and so he's still that guy. Winnipeg is the same as let's say Toronto, where if not now, then when? They've been poised to do a lot of damage for a lot of years, and you have Scheifele, who got that big contract. Corey Connors has been right there for a long time. Like, these guys have been with the Winnipeg Jets for a long time, and they haven't done anything. Could a guy like Cole Perfetti be the difference and maybe pushing Winnipeg to that next level? I know my sister and my mother are hoping so, but it's the same as to me. They're the same as Toronto. If not now, then when? They haven't had a whole bunch. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals in 2000, not the finals, the semifinals against with Las Vegas in 2018. That's a long time ago. Yeah, that's a long time ago to not do anything. And when you're just licking the jar, and yeah, you have regular season success, who cares? Like, nobody cares. So this I think this is the year that Winnipeg kind of has to do it. But a team that believes in itself, and a team that's rolling, and a team that's been the hottest in hockey since the Four Nations, basically 1905 and whatever they've been. I'm not a big stats guy, but that's got to be scary for Winnipeg Jets and their fan base. It has to be. This one could go 7. I think this one easily could go 7. You have a team with a Stanley Cup winning goaltender who's won a big tournament earlier on this year. That blah blah blah. Winnipeg's going to have their hands full. They're going to have their hands full, and the curse of the President's Trophy might rear its ugly head once again. In fact, you know what? It will. It just will. I think I actually have more faith in Toronto Maple Leafs than I do in the Winnipeg Jets. And I already said the Leafs were going to lose, so Jets are going to lose too. Take St. Louis.
So you talk about Toronto, you talk about Winnipeg. I'm guessing that this is another year that a Canadian team won't see a Stanley Cup in your mind. Is that, am I getting there? Am I getting that?
I think you're 100% correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't have any. Every team's got Canadian player, blah blah blah. But yeah, a Canadian-based team. It's been 1993 was the last one. So,
1993, the Montreal Canadiens.
They might as well get to a 40-year, have a big celebration, sell T-shirts, get 40 years, have fireworks, and then do it that way. Just get to a nice round number like 40 and leave it.
Oh boy. Then we get the other matchup in the West, the Central. Excuse me. The Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. This one might be a toss-up, but I think one X factor is Jason Robertson's injury.
Yeah,
he's been. Why was he playing in that last game in a throwaway game against the Nashville Predators? One of the most disappointing. That I think the most disappointing team of all this season with Montreal. In recent memory, with all those guys they brought in, all those signees, all those free agent signings they bring in, and they didn't do jack squat this year. But Jason Robertson playing in a throwaway game against Nashville, now it might cost you. Now it might cost you. Now it might cost you a first round exit against a very tough Colorado Avalanche team. And again, Colorado started a year a little bit slow, but they started gaining ground. Bringing the two Woods as your goaltenders, Miles Blackwood, former New Jersey Devil, and another former New Jersey Devil, Scott Wedgwood. That's your goaltending tandem right there. Bringing it all the way back to the Albany Devils of 2016. That's what you're doing. But Colorado, always a dangerous team in my mind, and I think that X factor of Jason Robertson being week to week right now. Although another X factor, Mika Rantanen, playing against his former team who didn't want to pay him, trade him to Carolina, then comes to Dallas, signs a big money contract. Now you got that load on your shoulders. So if there's one guy who's going to be motivated to play in this opening round, it's Mika Rantanen. So, Brent, let's get your thoughts about this series.
Yeah, that Rantanen saga, how that all turned out, and you go, well, why wouldn't they just? I don't know. Like when you what do you get in return? What do you get in return? Well, why did you invest all this money in a guy for that many years anyways. Like if he's going to go to free agency, well, then don't. I've always had a problem with that with guys with franchises who don't. Like, well, then why did you sign into that deal in the first place if you didn't think he was? Because now you may have cost your team a chance to win Stanley Cup. He's one of your best players, one of the top 20 guys or whatever in the league. That's that's up for debate, but that's an odd one. But Rantanen could be definitely be an X factor in this, and the Robertson thing is weird. But the thing is with Colorado, that Cale Makar is so damn good. Like he can change a game in a second, and he doesn't seem to be slowing down. He's getting faster, and Nathan McKinnon, he's just a horse out there. He goes through everybody. He finally won that Stanley Cup, and he's got a little bit of fire in his belly. Yeah, you remember when they few years ago when they lost, I think it was the first, second round, and he was quite upset about it. Like, what have I done? He had a few expletives.
They lost to Seattle in the first round.
Yeah, he had a few expletives in his conversation with the media after that. Yeah. He was quite upset, and you like seeing a leader like that will take it to heart more than well, we lost, we'll try again next year. But no, he wanted to win something because you make millions of dollars, everything else. These guys, I don't know if all of them, but a lot of guys want a legacy. And when you're at that level, especially when you're from the same hometown as Sidney Crosby, I'll never at the Crosby level, obviously, but you kind of like what kind of insider jokes are there between the two. Colorado's really good. Like they're really good. But once again, Ottinger, the goaltender for Dallas, he can steal a series for you. He's fantastic. A couple of years back, he against the Calgary Flames, there was a series there. The Flames were a lot better. The last year of Kachuk and Goudreau that they were there, and Ottinger almost took that series all by himself. Dallas is an older team. They got some grit. They got some and they're real good. This is going to be another. If it was a 9-gamer, she'd go 9. This is tough. But I'm going to actually go with the Colorado Avalanche just because of the Makar factor. He's that kind of a player that can just overtake a game in a series. He's really good. But this will be a long one. I think this one goes 7. It's just going to be a very, very good series. Probably one of the best ones of the playoffs.
This one's going either 6 or 7. That's for sure. I think Colorado. I agree with you. Colorado is definitely the better team in this scenario, but we've seen, like you said, goaltenders steal series before, and Jake Ottinger definitely has the ability to do that.
Yeah, these goaltenders are so big. Like you look at these, you're old enough to remember, even like Marty Berdeur's not a small guy, but the equipment. Yeah. But now these guys are all 6'4", 6'5", and above, and they just cover net. Like they just stand so they don't make saves per se. They make stops. Pucks just hit them because they're so big. So to just come down because look, Vasilevsky, we didn't talk about him a little bit, but just the size of these guys in comparison. Look at that kid in Calgary this year. What was it? Dustin Wolf. He's only 5'10", 5'11", a little guy, but he's unbelievable. You put him next to these other monsters, it's crazy. And Ottinger, so I brought it up. Ottinger's a massive, massive man. Yeah, it's crazy.
Got a couple of comments more comments in the comments section. D's Ray of Sunshine saying, I have a fondness for the Avalanche, not so much Snow.
Good answer.
Dallas may be more motivated, but she's choosing Colorado as well. All right, we're gonna move on to the Pacific Division. The Vegas Golden Knights, they won the Pacific again, but they're playing the Minnesota Wild, the wild card 1 of this playoffs, and Vegas Golden Knights, model of consistency ever since Bill Foley came on board as the owner of that franchise. They've only missed one season of playoff action, and they're back in the conversation again. I think as long as Bill Foley is the owner of that team, and what's his name, in the GM there,
McCrimmon.
Brad McCrimmon. Yeah, as long as Brad McCrimmon is the GM. Yeah, Kelly McCrimmon. McCrimmon. Brad is left this realm, unfortunately. But as long as Kelly McCrimmon is GM and Bill Foley is the owner of this team, Vegas will always be in the playoff picture. And they kind of flew in my opinion, they kind of flew under the radar this year, but they're still one of the best teams in the NHL. Yeah. Obviously, with being the division winner. Minnesota got off to a really hot start. I did not expect them to. I expected them, again, like St. Louis, I expected them to be in the conversation of lottery winner. But they've proved me wrong. Got off to a hot start, got banged up towards the end, and I wouldn't say they limped into the playoff. They're limping into the playoffs, but let's face it, they're kind of limping into the playoffs. Playing very inspired with Marc-Andre Fleury and what could be his swan song in the NHL. Playing very inspired in front of him. But this is the Vegas Golden Knights. This is a team that is like Carolina, very consistent, always want to win, always want to be the best, and they earned another division. They earned another division title this year. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this matchup. Does this go past 5, or does this go 7? Let's talk about it.
This one could go 3 if it was allowed. This one's the biggest mismatch in the playoffs. I think this one's not even close. But anything can happen. But this isn't close. And you brought up the ownership group out there in Vegas, and it's got to be refreshing. Like, I'm the same with the Yankees. We're both Yankee fans. It's refreshing to know that your ownership group kind of gives you a chance to win every year. And they're in it to sell tickets, to win, to sell hot dogs, because nobody goes to see the home team lose. Not very often. And to have that commitment from your ownership group, then your GM goes, oh, okay, we're following this program, and then the players know. And then if we got to make a deal to get whatever we got to do to make ourselves better, to try to win another one, that's what it's all about. And you got to appreciate that. And yes, there is some backhanded deals that we're not too sure of. I wish I had more time to read up how these rules work with guys that can sit out all. It's just a lot. But Vegas is long-term IR. All right, then it's just crazy.
There was that joke after the Four Nations that Stone was going to go back on long-term IR and be brought back on for the playoffs.
Miraculously good once again. Like, whatever they inject in his veins, and see you later. Real quick, Kaprizov for Minnesota's like he's at that brink of going to the upper echelon of NHL players, but he won't be enough to get the Minnesota Wild into anything. They limped into the playoffs, lucky to get there. They're just the Wild have been around for a long time, but I still until they do something, I still, like, in my old bones, I still consider them an expansion team, because they're just around. Like, they're just there. Like, you're all right. Minnesota, like, even if you're going down, if you had to name all the teams in the National Hockey League, you'd probably forget about Minnesota when you got to the number 26 or 27. Like, okay, there's 4 or 5 more. They're just irrelevant almost. Look at Vegas, so Eichel, Stone, Hurdle, and then their defense is fantastic. This is the biggest mismatch there is. Gustafson's a good goalie. Aiden Hill's okay, but he'll stop all the easy ones and a few of the hard ones. Right? Mm-hmm. He's already won a Stanley Cup. I really think this is the biggest mismatch there is, and the Vegas wins this one. If they would allow a 3-gamer, this would be 3, but it'll go 4, and that'll be it.
Yeah, this one's going to be one of the earliest exits, just because of how Vegas is built. Yeah. And Minnesota can there's got to be some way that the North Stars name can be brought back. Got to be some way. And I know the Dallas Stars are would be very hesitant to do so, but they got to bring back that name, man.
When they wear those yellow and green jerseys,
the reverse retro
ones. Oh, I love those. They
great.
The Leopards Broncos back in Western Hockey League back in the early 80s, I'm kind of dating myself a little bit, are pretty much those exact jerseys. So when they first brought them out, I brought a tear in my eye when I was going to the Sportsplex here in Lethbridge, watching the Broncos play the Calgary Wranglers, who it was back then. So you see those jerseys. That's it. That's the only good thing about that hockey club in Minnesota. I'm sorry to be so hard on Marc-Andre Fleury, and the little tip of the cap to him for a great career and smiling and everything else. Just a great ambassador for the game of hockey, and just fantastic. Too bad it's gonna end. He'll be playing golf this time next week, I think.
Yeah, and one of the best locker room dudes. Yeah, by far. His pranks are just absolutely.
Sports needs more guys like that. Yeah, sport needs more guys like that, where they're not about them; they're for the greater good and everything else. There's no attitude like that. And if every team could have 2 or 3 of those guys and not the negativity that surrounds sports would get a lot of a better rap, and people wouldn't be calling people entitled and the rest of the negativity that comes around it with more guys like Marc-Andre Fleury for sure.
Right. We got some more comments. James Erickson saying Fleury sending Vegas home early is the result we need, not the one we deserve. Your mouth to God's ears.
Wow.
And James Enfield saying Vegas going out in the first round would bring jollity and mirth to the rest of the league.
Huh?
Yeah. And D's Ray Sunshine saying golf isn't a bad choice. No, it's not. It is not. It's Mark. I mean, Mark Twain called it a good walk spoiled, but at least there's drinks.
Yeah.
At least there's beer.
Yeah, it's funny.
And we come to our final playoff matchup of the first round. The Los Angeles Kings earning the 2 spot in the Pacific, playing the Edmonton Oilers, defending Western Conference champion. This is the Los Angeles Kings, man. I can't name single player in that roster outside of Kopitar, but they're here. But they're one of the best teams. They almost won this division this season, and I thought I would out of nowhere. But this team is built. This team is tough up front. This team doesn't score a lot of goals, but they don't let a lot of them in either. And even though I can't name anyone outside of Andre Kopitar, this team's good. This team is very good. And they're playing an Edmonton Oilers team. Granted, they still have McDavid. They still have Draisaitl up front, as far as we know, because they've been hurt. They've been injured the last month or so. They're playing, and yes, they're a very dangerous animal. But who's going to be on the back? Who's going to be helping them stop goals in the back end? What of Stuart Skinner, who showed up in during last year's Stanley Cup final, showed up for the last 4 games, but this year has been roller coaster. Their goaltending has been, and this goaltending ever since McDavid's entered the league has been suspect, up and down roller coaster. My feeling is now that this is the 4th year in a row that these two teams have met. Edmonton's won the first 3, but this time around, the Kings have home ice advantage. And I think this could go very, very different. For me, I think the Kings win it in 5, maybe 6 games. Brent, let's get your perspective.
I got that circled right on my sheet right here. They're Ryan, LA in 6. LA's a better team than they were last year, and Edmonton's a worse team than they were last year. I think it's that simple. Yeah, you still have the McDavids and you still have the Draisaitl's, but yeah, there's a grizzled old vet, and I'm quite surprised you forgot about this guy, but good old Drew Doughty, patrolling the blue line out there, and he's goofy enough to pull something out. Like he loves playing the game. He's been around a long time, and he's a very, very, very good mentor to this young Kings team. And this Dustin Byfield kind of came out of nowhere, first round pick, but that for first round picks are just people, just prospects. But this LA team is better than they were, and I have zero faith in Stuart Skinner. I just don't. I don't like the way he plays. He played for the Hurricanes here in Lethbridge Western Hockey League, and I just never liked his game. Yes, he in the National Hockey League, so he must be pretty good, but I've just never had much faith in him. And I think last year the Oilers got to where they were in spite of Stuart Skinner. He's just not good enough to win the Stanley Cup, and it's got to get frustrating. And it's got to get frustrating for McDavid, and it's got to get frustrating for Draisaitl, and because these guys are 2 of the top 5 guys in the league, and I don't think that's disputable. They're that good. But if you don't have Darnell Nurse, he kind of Nurse gets a bit of a bad rap because of his contract. Right. Nobody said nobody had to offer him $9 million a year, but anybody who got offered, you take it.
Am I going to say no?
Yeah, no, I'm okay. That's too much. We need more for everybody else, right? No, you take it no matter what. And if he's probably a $6 million defenseman, but the Oilers brass gave him $9 million, so that's kind of hamstrung what they could do because of salary cap. But this Kings team is really good, and 4 years in a row, it'd be tough to win another for the Oilers to do that 4 in a row. And I don't think this is the year. I think LA is just a better team, and just the way the Oilers limping into the playoffs, how truthful are they about who was hurt and who's nicked up and who's not? where there's smoke, there's fire, and they just haven't really been that good of a team. Playoff time in Edmonton does get crazy as well, though. And if a Canadian team gets a chance to do something like those crowds in Edmonton, they get absolutely bananas. So once again, if they can steal one, you still have that X factor in Connor McDavid, who's still the best player in the world. But I just don't have any faith in that goaltending, and it's and that's what it comes down to. I just have zero faith in that goaltending, and I think that it's the Kings in 6. I really do.
I feel the same way. It could go 5. I think it could go 5 if things go really, really south for the Oilers very quickly. These Ray of Sunshine saying sometimes all you need is great team players. If everyone does their job well, you can go far. Sports is a lot about team chemistry. The Kings have that. I agree.
Yeah. My wife drives me nuts. She says they play like a team. I'm like, that's not how this works, but it does.
It does.
They play like a team. It's not how professional. Well, yeah. Then
okay, fine.
You're right. Fine. And then she's actually right most of the time. Like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, she goes, you do these podcasts with all these really smart guys all the time, but you talk about this, but you never say play like a team.
Yeah,
you're right again, Deanne. Whatever. So,
you're right, dear. And then James says, I like this line. Panic is Connor and Leon on the same line. Desperation is Connor and Leon being double shifted.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
It's a good one. All right, we're gonna close out the show with our favorite athletes to wear the number 27. This is episode 27 of 2025, and we are talking about our favorite athletes to wear the number that correlates with the episode number. So, another caveat here, Brent, the rules are it has to be somebody who you've actually seen play. It can't be any legends like in the past who never saw play, but athletes that we actually did see play. So, you're number 27, sir. You have the floor.
I think like when you first asked me to come on the show the other day, and you said you had one in mind, and I think I know who it is. So I don't want to steal your thunder, but I got a couple written down here. But I think I know who it is. I don't know if 100%, but I got 3 that I've actually seen. I've seen all of these guys play live too as well. One guy from going back to Oilers days, back when they were winning Stanley Cups with Gretzky and the like. But the guy that everybody calls the policeman of those Oiler days back in the glory years, Dave Semenko. One of the toughest cats to ever lace him up. Great big guy, like Ogie Oglethorpe looking from Slapshot looking guy, and he actually played with my cousin with the Brandon Wheat Kings back in the 70s. So I seen him play junior hockey as well as in the National Hockey League. Then I'm going to go to a goaltender. Also played for the Brandon Wheat Kings. Changed the game the way it was played for goaltending, the way you handle the puck. Scored a couple goals as a goaltender too. Number 27, Ronnie Hextall, one of the great Flyers goalies of all time. Just a fantastic character, rough and tumble. He didn't mind fighting and punching and doing all that slash and everything else. He was Billy Smith after Billy Smith. And the last one I got is one of the best characters in hockey over the years, and now he's on the air. Jeremy Roenick. I always liked the way JR played. Always had a lot of laughs with him. Character on and off the ice, and had a lot of grit to his game too. There was a lot of guys played the game the right way with skill and a little bit of flair. I think hockey needs a little bit more personality like that. It's these guys get hidden behind their helmets and don't show a lot of emotion, and they're rather bland now. But JR was never like that, so he was one of my favorite guys. There's my 3 that I got for you there, Ryan.
There you go. I did reach out to Dustin via text yesterday. He gave me his favorite number 27. He's had a lot of baseball players lately. Yeah. He gave me his Vladimir Guerrero Sr., Montreal Expos. Yeah. He remembers Vladdy mostly from his time with the Anaheim Angels / Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Oh my God, I hate that.
Whatever it is.
Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Orange County, whatever, yeah.
Orange County, OC Angels. And one time with the Texas Rangers. Played and Baltimore Orioles. So 4-time player, 4 teams. But he just remembers him just every time he gets up to bat, swinging for the fences. It didn't either be a home run. Yeah, no matter what pitch it was. And it was either a home run, a hard hit ball, or he would just strike out. And just always going for always swinging for the fences. But won the MVP in 2004 with the Angels. Won the MVP. Incredible numbers. Hall of Famer, home run derby champ, 9-time All-Star, 8-time Silver Slugger. Wore the number 27 throughout his entire career in Major League Baseball. And he also gave us Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who signed a giant contract with the Toronto Blue Jays. We talked about that in the last episode. So go in the archives and check that out. As for and I actually I had a surprising outlook on that contract. I thought it was an okay deal because most of that money, $325 million of that contract, that $500 million contract, signing bonuses.
I don't mind, Ryan. I don't mind the money. Like if they want to give everybody $500 million, I care less. I don't care.
I'll take that money.
Like, here, give everybody $500 million and shut up. Just get it over with. You get sick of talking about money so much, but I think it's just the term of these deals. Like, where are you going to be in 15 years? Like, even like Aaron Judge, where are you going to be in 2000 and like whatever when it's done? Like, it's always a term of these contracts. It's just like, what are we doing? Like when a guy's 43, 44 years old, like you just can't anymore. Like that's the only thing that drives me nuts about these deals. But
as John Sterling would say, that's baseball season.
That's baseball season. Right.
As for me, my favorite number 27, and I'm going with another homer pick here. Again, is the next couple picks for the favorite athletes to wear X number. Last episode, number 26, it was Patrick Elias from my New Jersey Devils. Number 27, again from my New. Oh, he was so good, so good.
Yeah. Underrated, like just so good because he played.
Totally underrated.
Yeah. Oh man, he was good.
And number 27, picking another New Jersey Devil, Scott Niedermayer. Scott Niedermayer, man, when he got paired with Scott Stevens in 1994, that pairing was incredible for 11 seasons. Then he jumped over to Anaheim to play with his brother for the finality of his career. But he won a Stanley Cup with Anaheim. Part of all three New Jersey Devils Stanley Cup winning teams. One of the best scoring defensemen in my mind. And the one play that sticks out in my mind is in Game 2, the Stanley Cup final in 1995, when he pulled off a Bobby Orr move.
Yeah.
End to end. Shot the puck off the board, got the rebound back, and put it in the net, back of the net past Chris Osgood. That tied the score at 2 in the second period of that game. And that goal turned the tide for the entire series, in my opinion. Because at that point, Detroit had the momentum. All the momentum of that series that seemed like is going to go back to New Jersey tied up at 1. But Niedermayer scores that goal, and all the momentum just shifts, and just a snowball effect downward from there. Jimmy Dowd scores the game-winning goal with less than a minute left in that game. Then then the Devils just go absolutely just crush the Red Wings the next 2 games to win the first Stanley Cup in a sweep. And Scott Niedermayer was part of that team, and he was part of a defensive tandem with Scott Stevens that was damn near impenetrable at times.
Yeah.
And you have a goaltender like Martin Brodeur, the GOAT in my opinion, and backing you up in net. But his major part of that Stanley Cup team was the assistant captain of all three of those teams. He and Ken Danico were the A's with Scott Stevens as the captain that were in the C of that team. But greatest defenseman, arguably the greatest defenseman in New Jersey Devils history, won 4 Stanley Cups. I think it was their first round pick in 1993 because he played with Kamloops.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was actually a Calder Trophy he was also I think it was a Calder Trophy finalist in 93. Because I remember them getting gentlemen swept by the Pittsburgh Penguins in that Stanley Cup playoff. But that was the first of his many times in the playoffs. Considered one of the best, and he wasn't just a great solid defenseman, but he could score. He could score goals. He could score. He was a part of the power play of the New Jersey Devils for so many years, and he's my favorite to wear the number 27. Has his jersey hung up at the Rock in Newark, New Jersey, alongside Denico, Stevens, Elias, and Brodeur. Those 5 numbers are now retired.
The thing about Niedermayer, he made it look so effortless. Like, just unbelievable how good that guy could skate. And he would change the game, slow it down to his pace, and just do whatever he wanted to do. And it was crazy. I saw him a couple of years after he retired. I played hockey against him years ago. He's from just down the road in Cranbrook here in BC. And so got to know him a little bit. It's a long, long time ago, obviously, but I saw him a few years after he retired, and he was chasing his kids around this hockey tournament in Edmonton, around West Edmonton Mall. It's this massive youth tournament, and he was chasing his kids around, and I just bumped into him. I said, "How do you like retirement?" He said, "Not very much right now," because he chased his kids around. It was harder to chase kids around than it was to chase hockey players around. So, just an awesome hockey player. Like, you talk about his Kamloops years. There wasn't a trophy he didn't win on the team level. He won Memorial Cup, Stanley Cups, Olympic gold medals, World Championships, and on and on and on it went. Like, there's nothing the guy didn't win. World Junior Championships, like, just everything the guy touched turned to gold. He was a phenomenal player. No, he's just a fantastic human being and a fantastic player. No, just a great ambassador of the game as well.
Yeah, we got a couple more comments before we get out of here. D's Ray Sunshine saying hockey fans are a lot like NASCAR fans. We go to see the fights and wrecks. LOL. Hockey needs more personality. I agree. James says Niedermayer was great on that second pairing with Colin White and the egg line. If I remember correctly, it was Elias, Giunta, and I'm trying to remember who the third G was of that egg line. I'm trying to remember who that was. You got me here. I'm thinking here. Oh, Scott Gomez.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget the old Scotty Gomez.
Yep. So it was Elias, Gomez, and Jason Arnott. Sorry. I don't know why he had G in there, but that's okay. And final comment of the day. The best players, D's Ray Sunshine saying the best players make it look effortless. They can slow or speed up the game to the pace they want. Absolutely agree. All right, we're going to wrap things up. But before we get out of here, I'm going to have Brent tell you where you can find him. Go ahead, Brent.
Right. First off, thanks for having me on. This is a lot of fun. I could talk hockey with you all day long. Not a lot of guys at the old Belly Up Network even know hockey exists, let alone watch. It's a lot of fun. But anyways, 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. Get on at least once a week. A little bit busy schedule right now with my role with the baseball team here around Lethbridge, but it's a lot of fun to get on and talk sports. A lot of baseball, a lot of hockey, and everything else going on in the world of sports. Always have a certain twist, just like you would at your local watering hole to just sit around and BS about some sports.
All right. And again, thank you for pinch hitting for Dustin. I appreciate you. Appreciate having somebody to talk hockey with on our program. So we'll talk about it again on Tuesday. But in the meantime, let's let people know at home where you can find No Credentials Required, which is at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. And you can listen to many other podcasts like Brent's and read our articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, you can subscribe to the podcast wherever you find podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And please don't forget to hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube. That way you know when live shows go up, when video clips go up, or when we have general show announcements. So in the meantime, we're going to get out of here. We're going to enjoy our Easter weekend. Happy Easter to those who observe. Happy Passover to those who observe as well. And we'll see you on Tuesday night at 6:30 Eastern, where we return with when Dustin returns. But in the meantime, thank you for tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. For Brent, I'm Ryan McCarthy. We'll talk to you on Tuesday. Again, have a great weekend. Happy Easter. Happy Passover. Enjoy yourselves this weekend. Be safe out there. We'll talk to you again on Tuesday.
Have a good day, everybody.